This is a very basic introductory video for students starting to learn to name compounds. We're going to start with ionic compounds. We will see how we can name ionic compounds first. In an ionic compound, the first element is usually a metal, and metals are positively charged. The second element in an ionic compound is a nonmetal, and it is negatively charged. Or we can also replace the negatively charged element with a polyatomic ion, which also has a negative charge. The name of a nonmetal usually ends in "ide", IDE. The name of the polyatomic ion does not change. It remains as such. The total charge of an ionic compound is always zero, which means when you combine the positive ions and the negative ions, the net charge or the total charge is zero. That is how you get the formula of an ionic compound. A few facts to keep in mind. Name the metal first. Name the nonmetal second. The name of the metal is written without any change. The name of the nonmetal ends in IDE or IDE. In the first example, we have two elements, calcium and chlorine, combining to give a compound, and we have a formula here for that, which is CaCl2. Let's try naming it now. The metal is Ca or calcium. The nonmetal is chlorine. And as we have already stated, the ending changes to IDE, or we will call it chloride. So when we combine the two together, we will get calcium chloride. Let's do another example. In this case, we have potassium reacting with nitrogen to give us a compound. The metal is potassium, no change in the name. The nonmetal is nitrogen. The ending has to change into nitride because it's an ionic compound. And when you combine it, it becomes potassium nitride. Let's look at another example. Here we have sodium combining with a polyatomic ion. The polyatomic ion is phosphate here. The metal is sodium, so no change in the name of sodium. The polyatomic ion is PO43 negative or phosphate. The name remains as phosphate, but when you combine it, we have sodium phosphate. The next example is a combination of sodium with a polyatomic ion like sulfate. Metal again is sodium. Polyatomic ion is sulfate. No change in the name for sulfate, therefore the product is called sodium sulfate. Check to see if you can name this compound. Pause the video, write down the possible name of this product, and check your answer. Okay, now let's look at the answer. The first element is Na, which is sodium. No change in the name. Second element is phosphorus. And phosphorus changes into phosphide. Therefore, the name of the compound should be sodium phosphide. Now, I have some examples for you. Pause the video. Try to solve all of them. Once you have the answers, continue watching the video for your answers and see how many of them you got right. That's it for now. I hope you have some idea of naming basic ionic compounds. If you like the video, please don't hesitate to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you and have a great day.